by the end of that, we know that we're only going to enter a niche which the data has told us already is going to work.
How can someone actually find these premium suppliers?
Yeah, so finding premium suppliers involves a few key steps. So first things first, you've got to choose your niche. You have to know what you're selling, because then that narrows down your supplier pool. So you're not just going in to try and find broad dropshipping suppliers. That we've all seen those. If you're in the world of dropshipping, you're probably getting emails from these huge companies that are like, we can serve you everything from handbags to barbecues to surfboard. Like we sell the whole lot. And it's like, if you're a, jack of all trades, master of none, I think is the expression, right? If they're not specialist, if they're not the brand themselves, or certainly a registered distributor for that brand, it's unlikely that they're going to be a premium supplier. So we're always looking for brands within a niche, not broad suppliers. There might be suppliers that sell your type of products and a couple of others, and that's okay, usually, as long as they're kind of semi-related. But yeah, we're not looking for a huge universal supplier that claims to sell everything. So to choose your niche, that's kind of week 2 of our program. We go through our niche validation process. That's a 9-step criteria inside week 2 of the masterclass. And by the end of that, we know that we're only going to enter a niche which the data has told us already is going to work. So we've already assessed it for the different criteria that we look at. So this involves us finding direct competitors. That's one of the criteria, and that are already operating within that niche. So most people think, I want to find this unicorn niche that no one else is in. I completely disagree. I want to find a niche that other people are in, successfully selling already, so that I can go in and make a unique experience for my customers and take my cut of that market, my slice, my share of the pie. Direct competitors, when I say that, by the way, that means online only retailers like us or like you, unless you have a huge warehouse and you're going into this, which is probably unlikely if you're thinking of dropshipping, and you are an online only store, right? Well, we want to know that there are other online only stores in that niche who don't have a physical shop or a showroom or a warehouse, because then we know that the suppliers they're working with are more than likely to dropship. If they have a showroom, a warehouse, or a physical shop, then it's unlikely that it might be that that's the reason why the supplier is willing to work with them. And so if I pin all my hopes on going into that niche and it gets to crunch time and I have to explain to the supplier that unlike all your other retailers, I don't have the ability to take any stock, they could just shut me down at that stage and say, sorry, we can't work with you. All that hard work goes to waste. We ensure that doesn't happen through the 9-step criteria inside week 2 of the program. So once you found your direct competitors, we're then looking for the brands that they're already working with and therefore dropshipping with. And from there, we reach out to those brands. Sometimes we'll even arrange in-person meetings with those brands. I know many members of our masterclass have had great results doing that. They've been to meet them, they've shaken their hands, put a face to the name. And whilst that's not strictly necessary, if the idea of doing that freaks you out or you're a bit more of an introvert and you think, no, I wouldn't want to be doing that, that's okay. You don't have to. Many of our members have succeeded and built their businesses just through phone and email contact. It is a really good way of building relationships with suppliers, going and meeting them in person. They can see you, trust you, and you don't have to be a super experienced business person to do that. You just have to be honest and explain that you're going to bring them revenue for their business, and they'll be more than happy to work with you. As long as you already know they are already working with other dropshipping retailers, that's the key. And then you just maintain those strong relationships. So once you've signed them, you've onboarded them, you keep them happy, and then you just nurture that relationship. It's like nurturing any relationship in any part of your life. The more effort that you put into it, the better the long-term results will be.
And it's well worth that effort because we're signing these high-quality suppliers that are bringing in revenue for our business week in, week out. So it makes sense to put that effort in. I mean, this process was a big mindset shift for me when I started getting into dropshipping, because initially I thought, as you said, we need to look for dropshipping suppliers. And that used to be the search term that I'd use on Google to try and find suppliers. But that's not the way to find them. There is an abundance of high quality premium suppliers in the UK and in other markets that you can dropship into, like the US as well, Canada, Australia. And wherever you're listening to this, it's very likely that you have premium suppliers in the country that you are trying to sell into already, following the home turf advantage model that you teach, Lewis. It's just a case of knowing where to look. And you go through that process that Lewis has just outlined. You pick your niche first, That will take you to the competitors in that niche that are already working with dropshipping suppliers. And then you find the brands that they're working with and you contact the brand directly. We're not looking on these directory websites. We're not looking for dropshipping suppliers. We're looking to contact the brands that are already working with direct competitors. And yeah, that is great advice, Lewis. It's allowed me to sign probably 50 suppliers at this point. And yeah, it's allowed me to obviously run my dropshipping businesses full time and live off the back of them. So it's such a key piece of advice that we're sharing today. We've also gone into depth about this process as well. So signing your first few suppliers in episode 22 of the Dropship Unlocked podcast, which is a popular one as well, because people are so keen to know the exact process to find and sign these suppliers. But yeah, that process you've laid out there, Lewis, is fantastic for finding those premium suppliers that make a huge difference for the business.